Hello guys, Colonel Ninny here. Every pilot needs to know how to bail out of his aircraft. When the aircraft becomes unflyable due to combat damage or mechanical failure, and the risk of landing it safely is not an option, then you bail out. So in this video, we're going to look at how and when to bail out and some of the considerations that will help to keep you alive while you do it. Now in IL-2, this action is modeled very well. There appears to be only one departure from reality here, and that is that the crew member bailing out is not going to hit any part of the aircraft like its tail surfaces. In bailing from this A-20, you can see there's a set sequence of departures. Pilot first, top gunner second, lower gunner third, and bombardier fourth. And these exit procedures would have been practiced on the ground by each crew. And knowing exactly what to do in an emergency was paramount to survival. Which was important because in a tumbling, spiraling, or spinning aircraft, the G-forces might pin you inside the aircraft and stop you from exiting. In real life, exiting properly, following the procedure, might make the difference between life and death. In North Africa, German ace Joachim Marseille had to bail out after an engine failure in his 109 G2. He collided with his tailplane, knocked him unconscious, he was unable to open his chute, and was killed. You can pause and read the combat report here. So let's take a look at the key binding for bailing out. Usually left Control E, which is fine except that right next to it, Control R is your record button for your camera. And bailing out, instead of trying to record, does not normally have a positive outcome. This pilot was lucky. And to ensure I don't make that mistake 10 times in a row, I've changed my recording button to Control Q. The obvious question now is how low can you bail out and still have your chute open in time to survive? In this example, we are at 300 meters or about 1,000 feet. As you can see in level flight, there's plenty of time for the chute to open and still put him several hundred feet off the ground. Next, we'll try it from about 200 meters or about 600 or 700 feet. The actual bailout procedure for most of these single-engine aircraft was to roll it on its back and drop clear of the tail surfaces. Now that's cutting it pretty close, but he survived. Something to consider if you're being pursued in a damaged aircraft. It's better to bail out than to die in your cockpit. In the Spitfire, the procedure is to fly at level and then bail out below the tailplane. One RAF pilot, Dave Hasty, got stuck on the lip of his cockpit. He had to kick the stick forward to launch himself free. Very often, the decision to bail is instantaneous, as in this attack on a convoy. On this occasion, the whole fleet took exception to me being there and shot me down in my parachute. A pilot in a parachute is someone who has tried to kill you and failed and is now asking you not to do the same thing to him. Many top aces bailed out at least once in their career, and just imagine the number of lives that might have been saved had we shot them down in their parachutes. Consider the Allied paratroop landings in Normandy on D-Day in 1944. Can you hear the order from the German General Staff saying, "Don't shoot them in their parachutes, wait until they land and are armed and dangerous because it's more sporting that way"? It's war. The enemy's job is to kill you, so why should your job be any different? However, this is a game, and games have rules. So, chute killing is frowned upon. Sometimes you may be so badly wounded that you're unable to bail out. I imagine that would be a very unpleasant sensation. Bailing out successfully is all altitude and speed dependent. If you're heading straight towards the ground at high speed, you have a less and less chance of it being a successful bailout. Never hesitate to bail out of a burning aircraft because it's going to explode. So bailing out is not the only consideration. You want to try and bail out over friendly territory if you can, to avoid being captured. Always consider the position of your front lines. As a highly trained professional, you are both paid and expected to bring your aircraft home, which you should endeavor to do at all costs with the exception of your life. The aircraft is replaceable, but you are not. An aircraft may be worth 100 or 150 points. So bail out if you can't fly the aircraft, bail out if you're being pursued and may die in the process, or bail out if you don't think you can land it safely. Landing your aircraft successfully at your home field will ensure that you get the maximum points for your combat sortie and also the points for your team. So there you have it. Thanks for watching, guys. As always, if you've enjoyed this video, found it helpful, please like it or subscribe. Or if there's another topic you'd like me to cover, please leave